We're talking about power, betrayal, and two outsiders who somehow ended up holding the fate of entire nations in their hands. This is the epic story of the foreign kingship.
Think about it for a second. Why would a whole nation, a nation of proud warriors, turn its back on its own bloodline and decide to crown a total stranger as their king?
Well, here's the crazy part. It didn't just happen once. It happened in two of the most powerful kingdoms on the planet, at almost the exact same time. So let's dive into the parallel rise of these two incredible outsiders who were about to change everything.
All right, so let's break it down. On one hand, you've got Bela of Edom. He's a foreign warrior, right? Chosen by the people, ruling with pure, raw charisma. Then you've got Joseph in Egypt, a Hebrew advisor handpicked by Pharaoh, wielding insane power from the shadows with his wisdom. You see the pattern? Both were outsiders, both climbed to the absolute top. But man, their paths to get there could not have been more different.
So that brings us back to the big question. Why crown a stranger? Well, the answer for Edom is pretty grim. They were completely shattered by a brutal civil war. I mean, the bitterness was so intense, so deep, that they literally swore an oath, never again will one of our own sit on the throne. They basically decided that an outsider's competence was way safer than a kinsman's knife in the back. And you know what? For 30 years, that crazy gamble actually paid off. Bela brought stability to Edom. At the same time, Joseph's wisdom was making Egypt prosper like never before. So you've got these two kingdoms, both led by outsiders, living in this incredible era of peace. But peace, well, it's a fragile thing. And in the year 2292, it was all about to come crashing down. Yeah, because way out in the desert lands of Seir, a storm was brewing. And this wasn't just any storm. It was fueled by old loyalties and a burning, white-hot desire for vengeance.
See, deep inside an Egyptian prison, there was a warrior named Zepho, and he was kinsman to the Edomites. As whispers of his suffering started to travel across the desert, it was like throwing gasoline on a fire. It reignited this fierce, protective instinct in the hearts of his people. Blood was calling to blood.
And this was their answer. 800,000 men. Just try to picture that. A staggering, unbelievable force, all united by one single purpose: march on Egypt and bring their brother home.
And just look at who answered the call. We're not talking about just one tribe here. This was a massive coalition. You had the descendants of Esau, the powerful children of the East, even the people from Angus. That's King Bela's own homeland, and the tribes of Ishmael. It was like a living sandstorm of warriors, and was heading straight for the Nile.
So, the stage is set. This is it, a single confrontation that's going to decide the fate of the entire region. The unstoppable force is about to crash into an immovable object right there on the plains of Ramses.
But you have to see the sheer imbalance of power here. It's just mind-boggling. The coalition marches in with 800,000 soldiers. And who's standing against them? Joseph, with just 600 of his elite guard. 600. By any military calculation you could possibly do, this isn't a battle. It's a slaughter. And yet, what happened next was simply impossible. In one swift, shocking clash, the largest army this region had ever seen was utterly, completely broken. And the cost of that defeat? It was just immense. 200,000 warriors from the coalition fell in that battle. Think about that. A catastrophic loss that literally shattered the strength of an entire generation. And among the fallen was King Bela himself, the charismatic foreigner, the one who brought peace to Edom for 3 decades. He died right there on the battlefield. His crown and all the hopes of that massive coalition fell right into the dust with him. So, the battle's over. But the consequences? Oh, they were just getting started. The shockwaves were about to ripple out, changing everything for both the winners and the losers. And the results were just brutal and decisive. So in Egypt, that whole failed rescue mission, it just meant things got way worse for Zepho and his men. They were bound in irons, their rebellion totally crushed. Meanwhile, back in Seir, the survivors of that great army, they limped home, not as heroes, but in total shame. Their pride, their power, it was broken. And with that one single defeat, the era of the foreign kings was basically over. A whole new chapter was beginning, one that was going to be shaped by fear, by memory, and by a solemn oath that would echo for generations.
So over in Edom, a new king, Jobab, takes the throne, and he's ruling with this deep-seated fear of the power he just witnessed firsthand. After him, his successor, Husham, he just continues this very uneasy peace. The lesson had been burned into their history, loud and clear. Do not provoke the house of Jacob ever again.
So while Edom is busy rebuilding, Joseph's incredible life is drawing to a close. After 110 years, think about that journey. From a slave to a prisoner to basically the ruler of the most powerful nation on earth, his time was finally coming to an end.
So, on his deathbed, Joseph gathers his family around him. But you know what's interesting? He doesn't talk about his own incredible legacy. Not at all. He looks straight to their future. He prophesies that their time here in Egypt is just temporary. One day, he says, they will return to the land promised to their fathers. And then, he binds them with one final, powerful command. It's an oath. He tells them his body must not remain in Egypt. It's a symbol of their true home, a promise they are sworn to keep. It's this powerful link connecting his own death to their future liberation. And of course, with Joseph gone, that unique protection his people had just vanished. The era of the benevolent outsider, the powerful friend in high places, was over. The new Pharaoh reasserted total control, and the whole relationship between the Egyptians and the children of Israel began to shift, setting the stage for a much, much darker chapter in their story. So here's where we leave things. A coffin waiting by the river Sihor. One foreign king has fallen in battle, another has died of old age, and that fragile peace they built has completely given way to a new, uncertain reality. And it leaves us with this huge question. When one era of power ends this dramatically, what or who is going to rise up to take its place?